All right, y'all. So we said the last component is to take your axonometric and turn it into a 3D, I guess, 2-point exterior rendering. We got 2 outside walls here. We got 2 inside walls here. The front door is here. So on Lauren's design, I guess we could just start from this corner. Again, if you kind of hold it up like this at yourself, this edge becomes the closest corner, and then you can easily sort of translate that into a drawing. So if I lay that out again, which many of you are starting to do, you put the 2 points down. Again, we're taking that closest corner. We're drawing a straight line. We'll just look back at this one more time. Lauren's is it looks like a fairly basic box, which is going to be cool. And actually in Dwell, the magazine we just looked at, a lot of them were just basic box-like structures. So we're just going to bring both of those to the point and make sure that we're kind of making sure that these segments or these sides are even, so it looks like a cube. So the distance will be about the same. And then we're going to keep that horizon line now, because that's going to be where the ground touches the sky. And we're going to look back at her axon and we'll say, hey, she's got a window, long and narrow, kind of up near the top, a window that becomes more, and a door, a window that becomes more of the wall there, I should say. And that will be going to the point this way, going to the point this way. And I'm drawing this fairly small so I can kind of hurry along here. That window is even with the top of this door. So we'll just kind of sketch this in loosely. This window is kind of up higher. And you got kind of the basics, the gist of Lauren's, design. Now, I don't know, we just looked at that image, like in that magazine, you might have a deck out here, you might have other areas. You may want to communicate, where's that lake? Is it down, back over here? Or is it, the shoreline of it right here? I mean, maybe we'll just say for the sake of this that water line is sort of down there. We could put in sort of a tree line back here, or sort of a hillside. What I need you guys to do is eventually do a little bit of landscaping. If we go back to our handout, one of the things we like to do with landscaping that we really haven't talked about much yet is just soften the edges of the building. I mean, the landscape needs to be simple. You don't want to distract from the house, but really what it'll do is, right now this looks like it's kind of floating in space. But if I do a few little things, like, maybe I just set a little sort of shrub right here. These are just kind of scribbled. They'll just kind of soften the edge of the building. You don't want to get carried away with it. Man, I don't want to do it the whole way through, but just a few really adds quite a bit to just set that in its scene. It could be a stone, a big piece of rock. If you do any sort of walkway off of here, that walkway will also go to the point, just like we've learned, in our last drawings. If you do trees, just remember that the scale of them should change as you're moving through space, and you can decide, how you want to draw these trees. They can be kind of sort of geometric. I guess I would want you to avoid doing a tree that looks like this, because this looks like, or this is even my least favorite, because it just feels like, sort of like a child's drawing. I guess I'd rather see you do trees that are like what's on your handout. Either trees that have lost their leaves, trees like this, trees like that, or more of a geometric kind of scribbly tree. Just remember, like I said, that you reduce the scale of them as they travel back. So as this is further away from me, I'm going to make this tree, smaller. And eventually this is going to start to kind of feel, feel nice. It'll feel like home. It'll feel like a rendering. The building needs to be the most prominent thing, though. So don't get carried away with the landscape, but this now just kind of sets it in its scene, and it just, kind of looks nice. So the last thing you're going to need to do, and I'll let you back to work here, is you're going to need to kind of assign a light source. And decide where you want the light coming from. So if I do that from here, and I just say my light's coming from the upper right, I'm going to shade the side of this building lightly on this face, because it's facing away from the light. And again, when we get into our pencils, I would say don't really work beyond the B's. You don't really have to, but just get in that sense of value so we can kind of shade, you know, the right-hand side of the tree, the trunk. We can even say, hey, let's put in a little ground shadow here. These kinds of things will really help in showing your space and just kind of setting that scene. I haven't even put on the siding or whatever Lauren's going to do here. We also haven't talked about the roof line that she might have wanted on this thing. She can decide what she wants that to look like, and I've been helping a lot of you determine what kind of roof line you want. You know, whether it be some sort of shed roof where the gable could be centered or the gable could be offset. You really have to kind of decide, but I can help you with that.